Well, I would like to say that we are doing a number of things. We recognize, number one, the problems existed, particularly during 2 transition periods we underwent last year, when the service providers were newly appointed and when the service providers were changed. Each of these created some disruptions, but our aim was to, support as much as possible the various aspects of service providers so that they can discharge their duties in a more efficient manner. We therefore held their hand. We helped them to such an extent that, including me and my other colleagues in other cities of US, we actually went to the service provider's office for the first few weeks on a regular basis. In my case, we even deployed our own staff at the counters, because we found that the service providers were not from the day one, they were not necessarily equipped with handling. As a result of their initial transitional issues, there was a huge backlog. This backlog created some discontent, unhappiness, and lots of grievances. There were also certain cases of non-refund of money taken by the previous agency, which was not transferred but encashed by the agency.
I see.
So we were involved in getting those refunds, and I must say at this consulate we have ensured the refund of more than 250 individuals. We feel there are still some people who have not got there, and we welcome them to contact us with their details, and we are pursuing with the service provider for refund of every dollar that has been encashed them wrongfully.
So, sorry to interrupt
go
you,
ahead,
and just going from the beginning of the process, and someone who doesn't understand how it functions, and they have in their mind this question that there is an office, there are people, the government India's office, and why this policy decision of outsourcing was taken initially, and then what are the counter checks that Consul's office have on this agency?
Well, it's very, very simple. Outsourcing was done to ensure efficiency, because a large number of the number of visas and passport applications, OCI and PIO added, have increased exponentially in the last few years. Indian population, as I mentioned to you, just in tri-state area is about 1.5 million. The way we have worked, I have realized that last 4 weeks, the complaints have dropped drastically. We earlier used to get 20-30 complaints a day. Now, it's ikka dukka jisko bolte hai, 1 or 2 complaints we receive on all accounts. Then we have a daily review here. We have weekly review, and our officers have a weekly review mechanism with the service providers. So we try to understand what are the technical glitches, what are the human errors, why the passports are getting delayed or visas are being issued, and we have to work very closely with them, and we are doing that. I'm also, to the viewers who are concerned, I would also like to tell everybody that very few people know that the consulate in New York is open on all Saturdays for emergency visas. This is a unique thing among our own consulates as well as consulates of any country in this city. Number 2, large number of people. We know that there were a certain number of complaints, but large number of people get their visas and passports without any problem. In fact, I would like to share the figures that we have for last year, 2013 and 2014 up to July. And you will see there is an overall increase of about 20 to 25% over the last year's figure of both visa and passport. There are 1 or 2 months where there have been a negative growth, and that is for transition. For example, let's take the month of July 2014. Visas were issued 7,136, while in July 2013 we had issued 5,709. So there is a rise of about 20%. Similarly, passports, July 2014, we issued 2,403 passports, while The same month in last year, 2013, we had issued 1,831 passports. What it shows is there is increase. The services have improved drastically. Yes, there could be individual complaints, and we are very receptive and very sensitive to these complaints. And each morning and each evening, not only me, every officer in the consulate and those who are responsible, they go through these emails, and we try and reply to as many of them as possible. Certain cases we are not able to reply because there are information is inadequate, we ourselves are not clear, but we try to acknowledge. So I want to assure everybody that whenever you write something to us, it is seen, it is read, and in 99% cases we do reply. And what I want is, just as you write your complaints, sometimes do also record your appreciation for the work that is being done.
So I want to, of course, appreciate all this valuable information that you have shared. But just going back to, you mentioned about number of complaints. So typically, what is it that people complain about?
There are three types of complaints. Number one, delays in getting visa, passport, OCI or PIO card. Number two, there are some complaints, as I mentioned earlier, about non-refund of money, which was encashed by the service provider and not refunded to them. And third is, I would say, miscellaneous. There are some people do complain that the courtesies were not extended, they were not treated properly, their phone calls were not replied, their emails were not replied. These are the typical three, I would say, categories. And as I said, they are all on our radar, and we are trying our best to. I would like to say in all humility that it's impossible for us to satisfy each and every person, because each person brings his own unique background to his visa or passport application, to his OCI or PIO application. We don't form rules. The rules are formed by Government of India. We only implement them. So often there are things beyond us, and in those cases we can't satisfy the applicants. That is our limit. But I would like to say in all humility that we are here and our service providers are here to cater to every requirement of yours, as long as it fits in the overall framework.
So talking about overall framework, just a few nitty-gritty in terms of emergency visa. And Saturday, Consul General's office is open. People interpret emergency in different ways. So probably there are some clear-cut directives or guidelines as to what would you consider as emergency?
Well, our, traditionally emergency used to be medical emergency or death in the family or serious disruption or dislocation. Marriage, for example, is an emergency. If somebody has to go and marry, he has to go and marry on a particular day.
Attending marriage is not
But I would like to assure that we are flexible. As long as the person is able to explain the emergency, we try to help. But what we don't want also, they should not take emergency to take, bypass, because that brings more pressure on our services. Because as you would appreciate, people need to take rest on Saturdays, and I'll be happy to show you our passport and visa section and how people are working from morning till evening, without almost, it's like an assembly line operation, and they need rest. And I think, if we give them some rest on Saturday and Sunday, they'll be coming back rejuvenated with more vigor, after having spent some relaxed time with their families.
Mulayji, what you studied in personal management, and you excelled as a student, and when you start implementing those principles along with your own experience and insight, in terms of sensitizing or say making staff more receptive and open and cordial and respectful to people, is there some way that you follow how that
No, we emphasize. I personally meet our officers, staff, including those who work on the counters, to tell them that it's very important for us to be polite all the times. We understand sometimes the person, applicant, might be wrong, but we have to understand the angst. Each person who comes to us, he comes perhaps with his issues and his own problems. Sometimes he has traveled for 6 hours and 8 hours just to come to the consulate. Sometimes they have to come on the previous day, stay here, they incur expenses. So we have to be sensitive. So this is the thought that I have tried to pass on to my staff, my officers, and I have, I am trying to inspire them to be as polite as possible, as sincere as possible, and show humility.
Mulayji, now internet is making everybody so close, and especially Facebook, you have friendship invitations. So this word being friends, if people want to be friends with the Consul General's office, do you also have your presence on Facebook?
Yes, in fact, only yesterday, the Honorable Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Shri Raman Singh, inaugurated the Facebook page of consulate. So please come to the Facebook page, enjoy the activities, join the activities, participate in the activities, and also if you have appreciation or maybe complaints, please feel free to write to us. Yes, I would like everybody to use civilized language. Sometimes we do get, I would say, abusive mails too. But welcome, you're most welcome. This is a journey together, mutual help and happiness. And we are with you, we are with the community.
And just seeking secret of Mulayji before I thank him for giving me the opportunity of talking to him today. As an outsider, I feel there is so much on your plate at any given point of time in terms of so many visitors are coming, and maybe you're going out to attend some of the community functions, and then of course the day-to-day activities and all these initiatives. So what is it that keeps you going in terms of your inner motivation, and how you manage your time so that at the end of the day you feel that you did the best that you could have done?
Well, I would say that this is a great opportunity that Government of India has given to me to serve my people, to serve American people, to serve this relationship between the two greatest democracies of the world. And, the more I do, better it is for me. And when I do this work, it's almost like walking in a beautiful garden. However much you might walk, you're not going to get tired or exhausted. So, while there is a pressure of work, there's a pressure of community, there's a pressure of events, and sometimes there is a pressure of positive ideas. But all of them actually help me to reinvigorate. They also help me in keeping myself in line. There is no better joy in life than serving your people and your community. And, this is my true asset that I'm, having here. And there is, every day there is increase in this asset. We really enjoy working with community. We really enjoy conveying the American people the civilizational strength and message of India all the time. So that is what keeps me, alive and kicking, if that is your question.
So pressure of positive idea is the take-home mantra from today's conversation. I think if that is the case, then you are unstoppable, and creativity and innovative approach would flourish. I appreciate all the time and valuable information that you have given to us today, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.